All right, so what is your name?
I'm James Watt. I'm
All
the
right.
high school principal here at Conway.
All right, cool. We'll move on to the questions. And so the first one is not super applicable to you because you're not in a classroom teaching students, but do you feel, I'll change it around a little bit. Do you feel that a majority of the teachers in the school like buy curriculum off the line, or do you think they have set curriculum that they just uh, get from somebody else, or do you think that they've made it up entirely? Like, where do you think most of the curriculum comes from in most schools?
So in this school, I'd say most of the curriculum comes from probably the department heads.
Mm-hmm.
In junior high, high school, we have in each content area a department head, and some departments may have more of a set curriculum of this is what we're going to do. Other departments may have more leniency on that. I think one thing that makes our school attractive to teachers is the autonomy to adjust their lessons and their plans. Like we don't have a fully scripted curriculum of day one or week one, day one, this is what you do. Week one, day two, this is what you do. I've been in some school districts where they have that, and sometimes teachers feel like they don't have choice. And so I would say one thing we could continue to work on, and I think it's kind of a long-term goal we've had, is to get a better vertical alignment for this year, for example, of the 26 seniors who had been here all 13 years.
Yeah.
Are there things that we're missing? Are there things that we're double covering between the elementary, the junior high, and the high school? And so those are some conversations and some meetings we've started to have as far as the standards by law. What are we required to teach? What are we teaching? And could we do some better job at that? So.
All right. And the second question is, do you feel that this curriculum is challenging the average students in these classes in this school?
Yeah, for the most part, it depends on your content area or the class that you're in. But I would say, in general speaking, especially for core English, math, social studies, and science, I would think the curriculum is challenging in terms of creating student rigor and meeting the standards. Some of our exploratories, again, those are mainly classes that the teachers get to create and kind of. So, if does that necessarily meet the level of challenge as say a core required class by the state would meet? Maybe not, but is it still a class that would keep students engaged?
Yes.
Is kind of what we look for in those. An example would be, Mr. Cook, his primary teaching assignment is world history, but then he has the history of the West and history through film. Obviously, there's state standards for world history. This is what we've got to cover as a school, as a teacher. But then when you get into those electives where there's really not a lot of guidance from the state, how do you create a curriculum? The teacher has a lot of freedom in that, but also keep students engaged in that.
Yeah. All right. And the third one is, do you think challenging curriculum contributes to overall preparation for college or the workforce?
I do. I think, they're able to step out of their comfort zone and be pushed a little bit. The more challenging we can make it here at this level will help them prepare them for the next level, especially if college is a path that they're going to go down. Because, I've been in Springfield, I'm here, and one thing I hear a lot from the universities in this region is students aren't prepared for college. And I don't know if it's necessarily the rigor and the challenging of the content at that level as much of it as it is the self-directed and responsibility of the student to take on. Because once you leave here, you've probably seen it in your own classes, we give you chance after chance, deadline come and gone, let's get it turned in. Then you get to college and you're one out of 150 in a college speech class. Does that professor really care if you turned it in or not? If it was due on this day, if you didn't get it done, you didn't.
Yeah.
And so sometimes what we hear, what at least I've heard from higher institutions, isn't necessarily the challenge of the knowledge of the kids as much of it is a study skills, responsibility, time management, those sort of things that I think we kind of lack, and I think we could do a better job of. And I think a challenging curriculum would help with that, because if the students having to look at their time management. I've got a job after work, I've got sport after work, and I'm also in this upper level class. It's challenging me to do an extra 30 minutes of work at night on my own, that's the best way to prepare them for that world.
Mm-hmm. All right, and number 4 is what would you do personally to improve curriculum in this high school? Would you make it more challenging, less challenging?
hmm I would like to see it, to be honest, I'd like to see it be more adaptive to student needs. Not
Okay.
necessarily, I mean, when you say challenging, I mean, rigor is a word I like to use. How hard are the students working? But, we live in 2019, we have all kinds of technology. Um, just because we throw 23 juniors into English 3,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean everyone's reading at the same level, writing on the same level. And so one thing I would like to kind of see is how could we utilize technology, blend it with the curriculum and the standards we're expected to teach from the state, but make it more personalized for the needs of each student.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so in that it would become more challenging, I guess, per individual.
Yeah. All right, and number 5 is do you think the use of honors or advanced improved test scores or just overall college preparation?
I think so. Again, because when you get the honor side of it, you're getting the students who are probably going to have a little bit more self-motivation.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just looking at content and book smarts, but are they self-motivated? Are they responsible? Are they going to be able to take on the duties of having that?
Yeah.
In terms of remedial, that comes to, like I just talked about, that more personalized learning. If you're coming into an environment and you're expected to do a rigorous curriculum, but you're struggling with concepts that you're still behind on, if we can provide some support through some sort of remedial type of class, I think that's what would be best for students.